I would like to introduce Mr. Anil Reddy. He is the founder and design director of Lollipop UX UI Studio, and he'll be presenting on the topic from sketch to UI design. So, Mr. Anil.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Oh, there's no echo. Yep. No, it's slant, right? Anil Reddy. I'm an artist, designer, entrepreneur, biker, and traveler. So I studied design in Chitrakala Parishad. So how many of you are aware of Chitrakala Parishad? So you're from Chitrakala Parishad? So how many of you guys are from Bangalore? And the rest from different part of India? Okay. So you guys are blessed to be in Bangalore. Beautiful weather, right? Okay. So I studied design in CKP. Then I did my master's in Design and Arts College of New Zealand. Then I worked there for about 10 years. Then in 2012, I moved back to Bangalore to start Lollipop. And officially it was launched in 2013. So Lollipop is 32 projects old, and we have 5 countries now. So, okay. So I'm here to talk about sketch. Sketch is something that everyone has forgotten about. So whenever there's a new idea, new concept, the first thing that we do is open computer, sit in front of it, and start documenting or designing it. So today I'm going to talk more about sketch and less of design, and let's see how convenient the time is, then we can move to design. So why I'm comparing food, drink, and sketch is, I think these 3 elements brings designers, coders, and the client together. So I've kind of experienced this while I was working in New Zealand, because in New Zealand there are different there are designers from a different country. Like I worked with designers from France, Filipino, and Japan, and these guys can't communicate, so they can't speak English. So we had this big challenge of how do we let these guys communicate to the client. So every time we ask them to present something, they kind of they have this fear of not communicating it properly. So we introduced sketch. So when we introduced sketch, they kind of opened up. So we asked them to talk less and do a lot of sketching, put a lot of things on paper. So that kind of helped us. So why I'm comparing it to the food is, so it's like when you're eating or when you're drinking, you socialize with people. No matter whether you can communicate or you can't communicate, somehow you socialize with people. So we kind of took the same concept and introduced sketch. So this was while I was working at Ogilvy. Ogilvy, you are aware of Ogilvy, right? So Ogilvy is so it's an international ad agency. So I used to handle the digital department there, the design side of the digital department. So then when we introduced sketch, I could see developers and designers happily communicating to the client or even their senior folks. So it was very simple. So basically we explain the concept, and the entire team jot down their ideas on paper, and then that's it. Then we go back and we decide how to improvise that, and then later it comes your wireframe site architecture and design research and mood boards and all those stuff. So today we'll talk more on sketch. Okay, so we're all born artists. So when we were kids, we scribbled. So this is sketch. This sketch, my carpenter sent this through WhatsApp. So I was talking to him. I want a table with just ignore the spelling that is mentioned. So this is the electric board, where this is like a workstation. So I wanted him to sketch something out and show what he's going to make for me. So he quickly sketched this out. So he can neither speak Hindi, English. He's from, I think it was from Calcutta or some part of that side of the world. But he quickly sketched and sent it in WhatsApp. And it was so easy for me to understand what he's going to make. So he kind of marked it. This is supposed to be electric board, and it's a 6 feet, 4 feet, and that we figured out it's a lamination board there. That's a metal leg, and that's it, the price. And he easily communicated to us. And this is an engineer sketch. So, and remember, all these guys are not artists. They are very common people. Just give them pencil and paper, they'll communicate. So this is an engineering drawing. So I got this from the net, and after this, the product evolved. And I don't have the final picture, but this is how an engineer communicated to his team. And a tailor or a fashion designer, this is a tailor communicated to his client, sketching out these things and those buttons and all this stuff. So everybody sketches. Like for example, my mom sketches. When the festival is nearing, when next day when she has to put a rangoli there, right? So previous night she's sketching it on a paper. She's drawing a pattern and she's like preparing herself to what to sketch, what rangoli to put next day. And can you assume who sketched this? Okay, actually it's not his sketch. This is what we assumed in office. Probably Bin Laden would have sketched the entire plan like this. So everyone sketches. So you don't have to be an artist to sketch. So this the wireframes in the background, right? That's those sketch wireframes, right? Mockups. That's the kind of can you see it? Is it clear? So that's the kind of a sketch everyone expects. Not very artistic, not fine-tuning things, not sketching a round corner buttons or not sketching icons. So okay, like I started, right? Computer is not where you start. It limits your thoughts. Like when we were kids, do you remember? Especially us men, we used to pee on the wall. We don't normally pee on the wall, right? We draw something there. So typography, either your signature or two mountains. So we had the drawing and sketching thing in us. So I do it sometimes, but. So what we did at Lollipop is, so to bring everyone together, I started focusing more on sketches. So now any new inquiry comes in, so we ask client to come down to office, spend 30 minutes, and put his ideas on paper. And even we get developers and art designers and collaboratively sketch something and come out with the concept. So this is one of the photographs. The client is sitting there. So, and he is very happy to see how what is our thought behind his product. So it takes only 30 minutes for someone to communicate their idea on the paper. So this is kind of a missing link that I see here. So I've noticed that like a lot of my fellow designers, they say that we don't do sketches. So normally client sends documents like 30, 40 pages of documents. And then I asked him, do you read that? He said, we designers don't read it. So how many of you guys read documents here? So how many of you are designers here? And developers? Okay, cool. So designers don't read documents. Even if they read by third or fourth page, they kind of forget what happened in the first page. So if you draw, or if a client draw something, or even a simple site architecture, then they will be able to visualize things instantly. When a designer reads a document, he cannot visualize things. It's very rare that it happens. So until unless he's got that habit of reading books and all the stuff. So a normal designer, when he reads a document, he cannot visualize things. So to fill that gap, we introduce Sketch. So in our office, we do not sit in front of computer when we get a brief. So the first thing that we do is sketch. So we made it a rule that every designer or a UX research or anyone in the team, they have to finish one sketchbook a month. So it's a rule at our office, and that's kind of worked out. Now, what we have learned from sketching is, through this, we are eliminating a lot of things. So through this, we are communicating to the client. So client kind of knows what comes next. So prior to this, what happened? We did the same things, like not sketching, correcting the document, and doing personas, and making a list of user groups, interviews, personas, and finally after after a couple of weeks we send a document to the client, and client doesn't read the document. He reads half, and I'm like, and he says, this, I don't know what direction you're heading in towards. So you're sending me documents, I still can't visualize what you're going to create for us. Then again through personas, client doesn't get an idea like what are we doing with the personas. Like there's one good example I can give. There's one project we're working on. It's a Mumbai based. It's a self-driven car. So it's a startup. So basically in India, self-driven cars are still picking up. It's more matured in the Western world. Like as soon as somebody gets down from the airport, right, they hire a self-driven car. They don't hire a taxi there. Taxi is very expensive. So they pick up a self-driven car, they drive around, and they drop it in a different location. And it's as simple and as easy as that. So in India, it's kind of Zoom Car has done it. Has anyone used Zoom Car here? Do you know about Zoom Car? Yeah. So very similar to that, but these guys are adding more value to the business. So here the challenge was the first target market for them was Mumbai. So in Mumbai, when we spoke to the client, he said, we asked him, well, what is your target audience? He said, the entire Mumbai. So the entire Mumbai can't be your target audience. So we have to kind of filter things out and finally say that we're going to do a research and we're going to create personas only on these guys. So the good practice of doing research is you have to do a minimum 30 interviews to come up with a conclusion. So 2 or 3 is not sufficient, but we did 30 interviews, like from housewives, and everyone who can drive. A housewife who's got a valid license and who knows Mumbai street very well. Because in India, self-driving is still not all that big. And again, driving using GPS is also not very useful here, especially in Mumbai. So it's very difficult through GPS because when GPS says you have to take left in 300 meters, you don't know what is the 300 meters. So you end up crossing the 300 meters, and again GPS draws a big map. Now you take a U-turn. So all these tools are not very useful here in India. When you so what we did was we kind of shortlisted 5 users, and we came up with a questionnaire, and we met them personally, and we got an answer, like what time of the day they are active, and what kind of phone they have, and how often do they spend time on phone, what kind of internet connection they have on the phone, and whether they are on prepaid or postpaid, and do they enjoy driving, even if they enjoy driving, like what time of the day do they enjoy driving. We collected all this stuff, and the most important thing was their travel. When they go to the other city, how do they commute? So we narrowed down all that. Like I can show you, if you guys want to see that persona, I can show you that. So this the client was like, why 5? Why only 5? Then I said we can't kind of have a broader user target and then design something. So I can only take 5 guys and then start my work. So bigger audience, it's very difficult to even think of how to present things to them. So I'll just quickly show you the persona that we created. This is Mr. Abhishek. His tagline: City Traveler, age 32, location Bangalore, occupation business, and Abhishek has been driving for the past 10 years. He lives in Bangalore. He is a businessman whose work routine involves a lot of local travel. So he has his own car but hires one for work-related travel. So he travels to Mumbai often. So goals: to find quick and convenient service, to hire cars locally, to use technology to save time and get things done instantly. And again, pain points. Pain points is very, very important because all these guys have tried Zoom cars or other services, and it's very important to understand like how was their journey on the website. So their pain points are like, in case of a breakdown or issues, the response in the fixed time is it's way too high. So the challenge here was, when we spoke to this audience, right, when we spoke to these users, their concern was like, if I crash the car, if somebody crashed my car, who's going to pay for it? So will the service provider cover it up, or should I? So they had all this doubt, because most of these guys go and hire an expensive car because they never get a chance to drive a BMW. Here on Zoom, you can drive, I think BMW is about 1,500 or 2,000 rupees per day. So they're actually hiring a car to get the experience. So they're a little worried about all this stuff. What happens if somebody scratches the car? So Zoom never covers that up. So it's inside, like terms and conditions. So you have only when you sign up and go inside, you come to know these are the things. So through that, we came to know that these users are really worried about the insurance part and the damage. So another pain point is he's forced to prioritize availability over other choices due to time factor. So the other car service company, right? They don't show off the list of cars they have. So for them, it's more about, like for example, if you take Zoom, right? They're advertising more on the expensive cars, but still their core service is into the normal cars. So they're advertising more on these expensive cars. So that was another issue here. So technology literacy, he's got a good, decent phone. His driving experience is 10 years. And drive company, sometimes he's driving alone, sometimes with family and friends. So whether he prefers a website or an app to browse or to take actions, he prefers app. And through this, we came to know that he's very active on Zomato. He's a foodie, very active on Zomato. And is like, that's one of the, apart from bank applications that he uses on the phone, he's very active on this food applications. And the decision factor is the time, and next is price and the location. So the car preferences, available capacity and repair. So repair, everyone add that repair thing. So related apps, Ola and Zoom. So he's very familiar with Ola and Zoom. So he's kind of expecting it to be even more better than Ola and Zoom. Okay, this is how we create personas. Now getting back to a sketch. So this is a different project. Probably this is the sketch we did. Then what I'll do is, after we finish this, I'll show you the end product. So after we collected personas, right, we thought that was the right time for us to start putting ideas on paper. So we had all the details. We knew what client wanted to sell, what target audience, and we also identified whether it is a web app, mobile app, or any other source of promoting it. And we sketched the ideas out, but actually it's under NDA. We're still working on the project, so I can't share those sketches out now. So here, this is a different project. It's a New Zealand-based project. It's called Dynamo 6. So the client wanted very classic look and feel of the website. So he had written a brief, very short brief. I always kind of admire brief coming from the Western side of the world. The brief that they write is really short and to the point. So here we have a habit of writing documents. I don't know why, for everything there's a documentation here. When you get discharged from the hospital, there's documentation. How will you expect a patient to sit and read all the documentation? So we quickly sketch, and someone from my team suggested that we should show off the services, and then to gain confidence on the website, I think we should show some API clients and the location available. And again, the about page, that's how we sketch. And this sketch took us 15 minutes. Only 15 minutes to sketch. There is no art involved in this. It's a very, very simple sketch. Circles, squares, lines, text, that's it. We scanned this and sent to the client, and client instantly said that now I can't visualize, but I kind of know what direction you're heading towards. So now I know that you guys are planning to do this. And then he came back saying that I think this layout will have a long scroll. Should we just squeeze everything and just have a full screen video? Then we were like, okay, fine. So let's try that out. And also we kind of told that whatever you're trying to achieve on the home page, you won't be able to achieve. But it's again a design call. So then we ended up the wireframes. So, and again, a sketch and wireframes are not same. Wireframes is more detailed form of sketch. So in wireframe you can define a lot of things. In sketch you don't have to go in detail. In sketch just put your ideas. Like for example, one of the food applications that we are working on, we almost solved the problem through sketch. Almost 80% of the problem we solved through sketch. We got developers involved, and developers started sketching things out. They said, okay, this functionality, this animation, and even the animation we solved it through sketch. So now it's only 20% of work, but that is design. And the client said, I'm very clear, very, very clear. Now we can skip the wireframe. So we skipped the wireframe, we jumped into the design, and we finished the project. So this is how it looks. Okay, so the challenge was to make sure the layout works on all devices. So we always take a mobile first approach. We design for mobile first and then design for desktop. So years back we didn't have that practice, but now we design first for mobile and then move on to tab, not really tab, and then desktop. So this is how the design look. So we also designed the brand, and a lot of sketching was done around the brand, and this is like what we do. So let's compare this design to the live site. So I could say that it was pixel perfect, and the 80% of this problem was solved through sketches. So wireframe, we just did it, and the client was like, you can skip wireframe. So once we introduce the sketch, right, now a lot of clients say that, why do you want wireframe? You can skip it now. I know the elements, I know the functionality, and also you in the sketch itself you have defined the animations also, so you can skip wireframe. So this is how the design looks.